Thank you. Alongside Bruce Boudreau, Mike Johnson, and Darren Dreger. And my goodness, if this game started with the pendulum swinging towards the Dallas Stars, it did not take very much time for the pendulum to swing back the other way, Bruce, and quickly head toward the Oilers' direction. What did you think about their response?
Well, I thought there was a lot of uh-ohs after about the 5-minute mark of the first period. And then, but it seems like the whole playoffs, it's all about comebacks. You can think about the Rangers coming back against Carolina in the third and Florida, the Rangers coming back. So, this is nothing new. When you get up 2-0 early, you can either fold or the other team takes the foot off the gas a little bit and you come on and get your crowd behind you. I thought it was a great comeback, but it was well earned by the Oilers.
You said it right away. 2-0 too early for Dallas. Too much time to sit back. Edmonton took over. But I'm thinking, just generally speaking, with everything going on around Edmonton, the magnitude of this game, the importance of probably having to save the series, the tough start, I thought it was a really impressive performance. Kind of mature, professional. Yeah. Everyone contributing, not just star-driven. It was a really good game for the entire team, not just any individual stars.
The word maturity is a word that I've used a lot in describing the game of the Edmonton Oilers to this point in the Western Conference Final. Now, it would have been easy for a less mature Edmonton Oilers team, a team that we've seen in the past, to perhaps unravel after it's 2-0 early to the Dallas Stars, especially when you go back to the last game where Stuart Skinner, after the game, acknowledged, I can't allow 4 goals against. We all saw the game winner, the hat-trick goal scored by Jason Robertson, where he jams it by a post that should have been sealed off. So this was overall, again, a very mature win.
Okay, well, let's dive into that first period because, my goodness, it has on the edge of our seats. The Stars come out, score 2 goals less than 6 minutes into the game, and then leave it to Ryan McLeod, gets his first goal of the playoffs to start the comeback from Edmonton.
So a couple different thoughts at the start, because last game, when Dallas took over, they played basically 40 minutes on their terms. Edmonton kind of never really got it back. But this time it was about 6, 7, 8 minutes. But Edmonton was able to right the ship because they got more aggressive. They started skating, started making plays, and trying to get pucks to the net. And that's how Edmonton needs to play. Whether you're McDavid or whether you're Cory Perry, you'll see the defense activating. And how about a guy who hasn't been playing, the poise to toe drag it out of a pile and stuff it upstairs when a lot of guys might have just jammed it right back in the pads. But McLeod gets them on the board. That took off a whole bunch of pressure. And then, again, skating up ice, making plays, beating the opposition. And Connor McDavid, pass off pads, textbook stuff. And you could just feel the building, the energy, the confidence, probably the belief, Bruce, of Edmonton growing when they get back to 2-2. All that good work by Dallas. Any doubt that had crept in about Stuart Skinner or whatever, out the window, refresh, 2-2, and they were good to go.
Well, no doubt about it. The key to me was after the 2-0 lead was the save Stuart Skinner made that prevented it from going down 3-0. I think that when he went, oh, wow, I'm back in the game. We're going here. But the other key was I don't think Edmonton opened up and said, okay, we've got to score 5 goals in 5 minutes. They knew they had over 50 minutes left in the game, and they just kept coming at you and coming at you, and then just taking the game away from Dallas.
Look, out of respect to Bruce Boudreau on the panel here, I'm going to show a little bit of love, send the flowers to the coaching staff of the Edmonton Oilers. Look, making tough decisions on game day is really what it's all about this time of year. Early in this day, the Oilers coaching staff was contemplating, all right, well, do we go 12-6? Do we go 11-7? Are we taking out Cody Ceci? Are we taking out Desharnais? We're putting Broberg in, who's largely unproven. And, oh, by the way, we're also pulling a couple of forwards out of the press box in Ryan McLeod and Cory Perry. And we're not using them as depth pieces. We're throwing them up on that second line with McLeod Draisaitl. That takes some guts to pull that off as a coaching staff.
Especially when you're a young coach. To do that, it's really impressive because it's not like they were down 2-0 or 3-0 and said, okay, this is just not working. We got to make some drastic changes. It was 2-1, in the series. And all of a sudden, to take out a defenseman that's been there, played 80 games, I think, this year, and put in somebody else, and then all of a sudden putting Cory Perry, who hasn't played, up under the second line. But make no bones about it. Nobody knows these players better than the coach. He's with them all game, all day, every day, and every good coach communicates well with the players and talks to them. And if he didn't think this was going to work, he wouldn't have done it.
But also speaks to a coach that is blocking out any noise. Because when you make changes this significant, you are opening yourself up to potential criticism if it does not work. If the pairings don't work, if Cory Perry looks slow, if they can't create offense, everyone's going to be like, well, Coach, what are you doing? You took out one of the defensemen who basically, they played 6 defensemen the entire season in Edmonton, almost every single game. So that tells you the coach is, like you said, locked in on the task at hand, but also not thinking about any of the outside noise, because there was a lot of noise heading into today's game.
Well, we all know what it's like being in a Canadian market. And, he's just sitting there. He's focused. And he says, I'm just doing what I think I have to do to win the game. And he doesn't care what anybody else is thinking.
They'd never even seen before. Like, we've never seen Kulak playing on the right side with Darnell Nurse. Like, that is aggressive.
That'd be the coaching staff, though, right?
Sure,
you've got a Hall of Famer, Paul Coffey, there, who was instrumental in making, part of those decisions. The head coach, Chris Knobloch, at the end has to sign off on all this. But I think collectively as a group, they're not afraid. They're not afraid to take risks.
Sometimes we joke like coaches, the coaching's done once the game starts, but they coached hard during the game.
Agreed.
Mixing and matching, doing different things. They were locked, they were paying attention to what was going on.
Again, they're reading who's going, who's not going, moving up, moving down.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about it, but again, if you look at the minutes, the time on ice tonight, the minutes were so well spread out.
Yeah.
It's what makes for winning hockey in playoffs.
Absolutely. All right. So Chris Knobloch seen some dividends on the moves he made. And as we mentioned, the Oilers making a really aggressive push at the end of the first. And big thanks to Evan Bouchard, takes that pass from Connor McDavid off the pads. And we mentioned Evan Bouchard tying up tonight's game at 2s in the first. Got his 6th goal of the playoffs. He is now 4th for the most goals by an Oilers defenseman in a single playoffs, with only one man in front of him, that being Paul Coffey. But now, let's hear from Conor Brown.
Better, but finds a way to get better and scores a huge shorthanded goal.
Yeah, it was a big goal. We feel good about each other on that kill. We were trusting each other. Unreal play by Doc there to win that battle and spring us. A lot to be said about Darnell. Everyone and their dog coming at him this morning. 2 tough bounces to start the game, and he settles in and plays probably his best game of the playoffs and leads us to a victory. So that's character right there.
You're talking about the start. It's been an odd series of long stretches of one team kind of owning it, and then that's what happened early, and you guys found a way to bounce back. Was that discussed? It's been kind of that series. How were you able to overcome that stuff?
Yeah, that's exactly what we discussed in here. Momentum. They're a great team. They're going to grab momentum at times in this series. It's about what we do to go grab it back, and I think we had guys, jumping over the boards trying to get the momentum back, not trying to you don't need to make a flashy play or anything, just simple, hard, win your battles, win your races, and we were able to hold the momentum and a great third period.
Conor, it seems like every time Chris Knobloch makes a move, lineup change, otherwise, it seems to work out. Well, what is it about this coaching staff that they're playing all the right cards here?
Well, I think that obviously he's doing a good job. It's not easy his first time in the playoffs. He's making gutsy calls, and credit to the guys. It's not easy to come off from the press box, right into the second line, playing on Leo's wing. And they did an unbelievable job. That line was the best line tonight for us, and it was a gutsy win.
When a coach shows trust in a player like that coming in, and does the player want to reward the coach for a situation?
Well, I think it's the players trying to play their best no matter what the situation is. Obviously, when you get trust from your coach, it empowers you. So, that's something to be said about that.
Empowerment from the coach and a gutsy win. Love to hear that from Conor Brown. 1 assist tonight for him, and that was, of course, on Matthias Janmark to make it 3-2 Oilers. And MJ, the PK standing out for you because it has been pretty solid.
Yeah, penalty killers are supposed to do what? Kill penalties. Yeah. They're not supposed to create offense, and they've done an unbelievable job now. 23 for 23 the last 7 games for the Edmonton Oilers, killing penalties. That keeps you in games big time. Even if your power play is cooled down, which Edmonton's has, if you're able to kill penalties, keeps the games tight, keeps the games close, keeps you in games, let alone spring in some extra offense. But you like to see Brown and Janmark playing with confidence. And this is part of what Conor Brown was talking about, where the coach trusts you, empowers you. Maybe you make a play like this instead of just dumping it in, shooting it down. And that's a really tidy release by Janmark. Puck's way in front of his feet to elevate that one onto the bar. Very impressive. Good play. And then shortly thereafter, 51 seconds later, just as the penalty expired, line change, a nice little give and go. Leon Draisaitl, that's more like it, cashing in. And just like that, the 1-goal lead became 2. And that minute was more than enough offense for Edmonton to carry it home. But really impressive surge but guys making plays off Dallas mistakes. Something you don't see an awful lot of is Dallas having breakdowns, giving up odd man rushes. Gave up a couple, and made them pay.
They don't usually do it, and then the crowd gets behind them after the first goal, and then they just get right going on into the second goal. But those are when you're penalty killing can threaten the Dallas power play. You're always playing on the defense, even when you're on the offense, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think with the Oilers, the way they're playing, and they can just jump at you in that 1-3-1, and I mean, they make one mistake and it's 2-on-1s all the time. Boy, I mean, I wonder if Dallas wants power plays anymore.
Well, you would know really well. Offensive players on the power play thrive on the touches and points they get in the power play, and it helps them play 5-on-5. And so Dallas now going through this series not getting anything done in the power play, they're thinking they just don't feel as good as about themselves when they go play 5-on-5. Edmonton, the same thing. They're not scoring power play goals either, but you can really demoralize top players by shutting them down the power play.
But at least the power play on Edmonton tonight, even though I think they only had one, it was so good. Like they could have scored 2 or 3. They're going to go in and they're going to watch the video tomorrow and they're going to say, "Wow, we were good. Let's continue to do that." Dallas is going there. Hey boys, we got to change it up. I mean, we weren't shooting the puck. Edmonton was challenging at the blue line and intercepting pucks. I mean, they're a little worried about being on the power play.
Okay, well, the Oilers with wind in their sails after a win like they had tonight. Matthias Janmark, he had a goal, and as did Ryan McLeod, made it 2-1 in the first. He is standing by with Jackie Redmond.
Welcome back, Mr. McLeod. What a return to the lineup. How motivated were you after sitting out for a game to come back and make an impact?
Yeah, very. It sucks sitting out and watching the team, but it was fun. Really excited to get back in the lineup, and I thought I had a little bit extra juice tonight, and it was good to get that one. You
score that goal. What's going through your mind in that moment, if you can even say it on television?
Yeah, just good to get the monkey off the back. It's just nice to get one. Yeah.
But you get out there, you play with Draisaitl and Perry. What was that chemistry like, and what were you guys like on the bench between shifts?
I think me and Perry were just going to work and get pucks back for Leo, and he's going to do his thing, and it worked out tonight, so it was good.
Obviously not the start that you guys wanted, but what does it say about your group that you stay calm, you come out, you push back, and you get a huge win? Yeah, resilient group. We've been like that all year. We're never out of game, so I think, if we get a better start, it should be a little bit more smooth sailing, but, it was a great game tonight. What was the conversation like, between periods after being able to prove to yourselves, like, hey, we can overcome anything? What were you guys talking about? Just, managing the puck a lot better, kind of getting into our game right away, and just kind of managing getting them behind us, and I think we did a good job of that the rest of the 40. Well, you come back. I don't think the fans are going to want to see you leave the lineup again. Now, how many text messages do you think you're returning to once you grab your phone? Hopefully a couple, yeah. Probably the parents and some other people, but it's great to get that one. All right, last one for you. You go to Dallas. It's now a best of 3. What is the key to winning one on the road? I think just a fast start and getting our game early. We know how successful we can be if we get to our game, and just playing a full 60. All the hockey cliches, but just keep it simple and get to our game. All right, thank you for this, and congrats again. Thank you.
Resilient group. Let's hear from another Oiler. Here is Cory Perry.
Cory, you've been in lots of playoff situations, lots of different teams. In terms of the response that your team had tonight, is that up there in terms of what you've seen?
Yeah, I couldn't. I don't think you could ask for more. I mean, tough start. It's the first goal. It's a high flip over our D. The second one hits the guy in the rear end and in the corner and goes in the net. Those things you can't draw up. But after that, I thought, we responded well and kept our foot on the pedal and just kept plugging away. And it's a great win.
Cory, it just seems like every move Chris and this coaching staff has made this year when it comes to lineup changes and switches has worked out. What is it about the players that want to reward the coach when he makes a change and he has to trust in guys to come back in the room?
Well, yeah, I mean, when you do get pulled out of the lineup, it's a tough pill to swallow, but you put that aside, and when you get your name called again, you come in and you just you work hard, and that's I think you can talk for myself and for Clowder. It was about being hard on the puck, win our battles, and that's all we were trying to do.
Did you feel like the group rallied around Darnell a little bit today? It's been a couple of days where there's lots of noise around him.
I haven't heard anything about him.
Even Conor Brown just kind of said like, everybody coming at him, and he played really well that last 50 minutes.
Well, he has played well, and personally, I don't know what you're talking about, but you know, he's a big part of our group, and he's a big voice in this dressing room, and you know, when he's playing like that, it's great for us.
Down 2-0, how'd you guys regain control of that game?
Well, like I just said, it's a tough bounce for that second goal, and we never got down. You know, Stu made some big saves for us. You know, I don't know if Hintz on the breakaway missed a net or he saved it, whatever it was. That backdoor play, he made a big save. If he doesn't do that, we don't have a chance. But so you got to start there, and on the bench, we never got down. It's you know, we just kept pushing. We knew if we played our game, we were going to get some chances, and we capitalized on those.
All right, so Cory Perry just alluded to it right there, the team regaining control. And he mentioned Stuart Skinner because, Bruce, off the hop, things weren't looking too good. 2 goals, less than 6 minutes in. But there was the bad Stuart Skinner, and then quickly we saw the good Stuart Skinner.
Yeah, like, I mean, well, and he's right. Like, I mean, the first goal, Stankovic, that was, or Johnson was a heck of a shot. Like, I mean, we can say whatever he wants, but a right-handed shot coming down the left side and over the shoulders, and that's the first shot on goal game that you face. You'd like to get a couple in there, the warm-up, and the second one was an in-off off the Oilers defenseman. But, I mean, the third chance he got was he made a great save right in front of the net, and that could have been the one we were all talking about, saying, well, if that goes in, do we change the goalies? Do we do all of this? But he stopped it, and he didn't let anything in for the rest of the game. I thought he played great.
He has always shown a great emotional maturity.
Yep.
Like, even when he struggles, he owns it. Right after a game, he can talk about it and sort of articulate what he's feeling, and he's done a really nice job all year long of bouncing back game to game.
Yeah.
Maybe this is one where he's bouncing back within the game, where even Stuart Skinner, as calm as he seems to be, he would have been a little bit rattled the way that game started, down 2-0. Play was in his own end. They were getting hemmed in. But he just, you know, he, like the team, he just found it, settled in, and showed the kind of form that he can have.
Yeah.
And when he plays like that, that's more than enough for Edmonton. Like, he's plenty good enough. He just has to find a way to do it as consistent as possible. He was excellent in shaking off that slow start.
No, I would agree with that. I mean, and look, you talked about Stu Skinner and the accountability factor. Just listen to his comments after Game 3. You know, he didn't dive on the sword. It wasn't a woe is me. It was, I've got to be better. I can't allow 4. And the Jason Robertson game-winning goal, he just said was unacceptable. He's got to make that save. And you get that sense of accountability throughout the lineup.
Okay, and then of course, I mean, Darnell Nurse too, right? There was the bad and the good, and that second goal for the Stars almost took an ugly bounce off of Darnell Nurse. That was bad, but then he redeemed himself quickly as well.
And Cory Perry talking a little bit about that, right? And you know, there's been a lot of noise around Darnell Nurse specifically, based on the belief that he hasn't played well in the playoffs. And you know, he was terse with the media this morning, probably didn't want to talk. This is just bad luck. That's just bad luck. I mean, it goes in off the backside of Darnell Nurse, finds a perfect hole, and eludes Stuart Skinner. But there was good in Darnell Nurse in Game 4 as well. Look at, they wanted him to skate more. That was the messaging from the coaching staff, is use your speed, skate, and if you can, don't go chasing hits, but be as physical as you can. Don't be afraid to jump into the play. And we saw that on the McLeod goal. So let's see how he can build off that from here, because the Oilers are going to need Darnell Nurse and everything that he can do positively to advance to the Stanley Cup final.
They sure will. So a dominant 5-2 win for the Oilers. This series knotted up at 2s. Let's hear from the Stars head coach. Here's Pete DeBoer.
Pete, I know that it's going both ways, but is there a way to better prepare your team for the sharp momentum swings that are clearly winning games in this series?
Yeah, I think everyone's trying to prepare your team. You're 3 rounds in, so, you know. Yeah, I don't understand that question. What do you mean prepare? What do you mean prepare your team? Like,
well, I guess what we're seeing is when it turns, both teams are having a real hard time handling when that momentum gets rolling. So is there a better way for
You got 2 good teams going at it. You got 2 good teams going at it. That, you know, that I don't have an answer to that.
Second row left, Mike.
And I'll give you another one. You can't have any update on Chris Tanev?
No, blocked a shot, couldn't finish. So fingers crossed. You know, hopefully he'll be good for the next game, Game 6.
And then
game 5.
Whatever.
Game 5. Feels like 12.
And then any feeling on the power play? They're obviously killing penalties very well, but
yeah, power play was a symptom of the rest of our game. You know, I mean, we got up 2-0, got the start we wanted, but I don't think we were playing well or had enough guys playing at a high enough level that was real. Having said that, Rupe Hinn's breakaway, we might have had one other chance where you extend that lead to 3-0. Probably a lot like the game before where they have the power play. If they go to 3-0, maybe that switches things. We didn't, and the rest of the game they were the better team. That's the bottom line.
Other questions for Pete? We'll go second row on the right, Andrew.
I know a bit raw at the moment, but knowing that you're through 4, you still have home ice.
Yeah.
Happy to be 2-2 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we came here and got a split, got home ice back. It's 2 out of 3 to go to the Stanley Cup final. I mean, this isn't supposed to be easy, and it's not supposed to be pretty. As much, preparation as we can do to manage momentum swings and things like that. You get the 4 best teams in the league left. That's what it's going to look like, and you got to find a way to come out on top. If it takes 7 games in overtime, it takes 7 games in overtime.
Back to.
No, the playoffs are not supposed to be easy. Jamie Benn had 2 assists tonight, and let's hear from him now.
Yeah, I mean, they're not just going to hand it to us. I thought our first 10 was better than obviously last game, but they made a strong push, and we'll move on here and get ready for the next one.
Why do you think it has been so hard for a team to hold a lead in this series?
There's a lot of good teams in this league. Obviously they're a good team. We feel we're a good team, and that's why we play 60 minutes.
They had felt last game that you guys had just overwhelmed them with your efforts. What's your assessment of how they were able to wrestle the momentum back?
I mean, no team wants to go down 3-1 in a series, obviously. They had a strong effort tonight. They got it done. Like I said, we'll move on and get ready for the next one.
What's your confidence level in this team's ability to respond kind of the way they did tonight?
I got all the confidence in the world in this group. I've been through a lot all year. We'll reset here, learn from it, and we got a great opportunity in front of us, best of 3 on home ice here. So looking forward to it.
All right, so Jamie Benn focused on trying to reset. But let's go back to what Pete DeBoer said specifically about Chris Tanev. He said he had his fingers crossed, but of course we saw Chris Tanev take that puck off the ankle, hobbling down the tunnel. And of course, if he does have to miss time, this would be an absolutely massive blow because he's been playing a critical piece.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, for the most part, in all these playoffs, they've used 5 defensemen plus 1. And Tanev was the guy they acquired at the deadline to get them over the top. And if he misses time, the shot blocking, the defensive play underneath the circles is really going to take a hit. And guys are going to play too many minutes. Heiskanen was already playing 28, 29 minutes, so it's going to be difficult if he's lost. I think he's probably as key a player to lose as anybody on the back end.
We know how tough he is. If he can't come back in the game, he must be going through an extraordinary amount of pain. He must be really limited to what he can do because he would do anything and freeze it, whatever he could do to numb it for the rest of the game. So that's troubling for sure. And the thing about Dallas is we admire their depth, but they only sort of have 4 top 4 defensemen, right? They got Heiskanen, they got Lundell, they got Harley, they got Tanev. And to ask Suter to play up more, or to put Lundqvist in there to play, when Tanev's replaced, they don't have a guy maybe you feel that comfortable chewing up 22, 23 minutes against the kind of forwards that Tanev has to play against. It's a real, listen, injuries are a problem for everyone, but Tanev specifically because of how they utilize him and how important he is, it's a real problem if he can't play.
I mean, we're 4 games into the Western Conference Final, so pre-scouting really doesn't matter anymore. You know what you've got, and you know what you're facing, and that's a best of 3 to advance to the Stanley Cup Final. But I know that the Edmonton Oilers, especially Draisaitl and McDavid and those that flank them, were looking forward to the Dallas series as opposed to what they faced in Vancouver, mostly because they're like, well, we feel like we're going to have more room. We're going to have more room out there against Dallas. Well, if Tanev isn't available, then, yeah, you're going to have some more room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they're going to have to make do, and they've made do all year. They didn't end up first in the conference for a reason, and they're not going to cry about it. They'll go out and like other players come in, and they do well. The problem is, who was the defenseman you mentioned? I forgot his name.
Petrovic was
no,
the extra,
other guy.
Lundqvist?
Lundqvist has only been playing 5 and 6 minutes when he does play, because I don't think Pete has a lot of confidence in him, obviously. So, I mean, if he's the guy that goes in, all of a sudden his minutes are going to double.
Yeah.
Okay. And DeBoer, as you said, crossing those fingers. And for him, this is feeling like a long series. 12 games.
Yeah.
Hasn't been that many. Well, a dominant win for the Oilers tonight, and two guys that helped produce that win, McLeod, Draisaitl, and Janmark. Let's hear from them now.
The 23 consecutive kills for your group, very good sticks, and then tonight you add in the shorthanded goal. What did you see on that play, and what have you liked so much about your penalty kill?
Yeah, we've been confident lately. Have a good kill in this series, so we got them a little bit on their heels today, I think. Yeah, we played to our structure there on the goal, and we got a big block from Nurse, and then yeah, Brownie picked it up, and we were able to go the other way.
Leon, early in the year, they always asked the penalty killers what it was like to go up against you guys in practice. You see your penalty kill, and I know you were part of that last year. What impresses you as a power play guy about your penalty kill right now?
I think just how in sync they are and their routes, and how detailed they are with stick positioning and being in lanes, and obviously at times having to sacrifice. It seems like they're controlling the pace of the power play almost sometimes, and that's really, really hard to do for kills. And obviously all the guys that are out there are doing a great job.
We'll go front right, Josh.
Leon, just a word on Cory Perry. It can't be easy for a guy with his resume to sit out to you about how he handled it and coming back in and on your line having a big impact.
Yeah, really good. He's obviously a very smart player. You know, he's got God knows how many playoff games under his belt. So, you know, he brings a lot of maturity and very smart hockey player. So I thought all the guys that were coming in, which is not easy to do at this time of year, did a great job tonight.
Second row left, Derek.
Hey, Leon. In a similar vein, I want to ask you about the decisions your coach is making. And it's been all year. It seems like every decision he's making is working out. Like whether he decided to change the goalkeepers for a couple games, or bring guys in and out of the lineup. What is it about the decisions he's making? Are the players coming in feel like they need to reward those decisions, or how do you kind of see the way it's succeeding, I guess?
Well, first of all, I think that our depth is good enough that it's hard for him to make these decisions. You know, if you take someone out, you have someone waiting outside your lineup that's ready to go and wants to make an impact, and that's good enough to make an impact. And that's what good teams have, and that's what winning teams have. And obviously, Knobber pushes the right buttons, or has the right lineup decisions most of the time. So, yeah, he's done a good job.
And Matthias, coming into this series, a lot of people were talking about how deep they were and what their depth was and how they had 4 lines. Did you guys almost take that as a personal challenge, because you guys are a pretty deep team as well, and you're getting contributions from your 3rd and 4th lines?
Well, yeah, yes and no. I think like our teams are built different. I don't think they have the top players that we have. So I think it's obvious that they have 3 lines pretty much that are A, B, and C. We have, I mean, the first line and our top 6 that scores, so it's hard to challenge in that way, but for sure we knew that we could contribute and maybe in different ways than their depth, but for sure it's a challenge, and I think we've been up for it so far.
Second.
All right, well, it was just one game, but tonight definitely felt monumental, because this was the difference between the Oilers heading to Texas down 3-1 and their playoff lives hanging on by a thread. Instead, it is tied up at 2s as the action shifts to Texas with Game 5 Friday night. Let's get you back to SportsCenter.